Good morning, everybody, and good evening to everybody in India. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M by 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of that mission, we've been doing these free mentoring roundtables since 2008. We started with an experiment. The experiment was successful. And then the 1 million by 1 million program itself in its full form was launched in 2010 based on those experiments. Now, over 250,000 people have participated in these roundtables over the years, and it's been going on for a very long time and with great intensity. Every single roundtable recording is available on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtables. You can follow us on Twitter. We publish a lot. We publish a lot on all our channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. LinkedIn is our biggest channel. That's probably where you know us from the most. And if you want to dial in, these are the dial-in instructions. I will put the slide back up later. We have a lot of pictures today, so we probably will not have time to take a lot of audience questions, but let's see how it goes. It's a packed program today. Let me set some expectations. This is a safe working session. You don't need to be scared, nervous, defensive, nothing. I'm on your side. We are all on your side. It is the whole intent of this is to help you succeed, help you accelerate, remove roadblocks and blocks and so forth. So, relax. Let's just look at the issues and see how to solve them. You can disagree with my feedback. This is your venture. It's your prerogative to do whatever the hell you want to do with it. But listen to the feedback because, it's based on a lot of experience and it is, given with great positive intent. So I don't give you gratuitous bullshit. So let's get going. We're going to start with NevilLabs, Neha Mahendarkar Vijaya from Bangalore. Neha, please unmute your line and tell us what NevilLabs is.
Sure, thank you, Sharmana. Yes, so I'm Neha Mahendarkar Vijaya from Bangalore, India, and I've done my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering in India and did my master's in electrical engineering from the University of Texas at Dallas in the United States. I have worked in many research groups in India and in the US. And I'm now a RF consultant and I'm working on NevilLabs, which is unleashing tomorrow's potential. Next slide, please. So as children progress from primary classes to secondary classes, they are mostly introduced to in-depth concepts of STEM subjects, that is math and science subjects, so that they can make right course choices based on their interest in their higher secondary classes and in their higher studies. And these courses have to align with each other. Because of the varsity of these subjects, many students actually struggle with these subjects because they're not able to relate the concepts to what they already know, causing a lot of confusion, and they'll not know the application of these concepts, which they can use in their daily life and their future ahead. And many children actually struggle to understand the importance of these concepts. They don't know why they're studying what they're studying, which decreases interest in these subjects. And if kids don't develop passion for knowledge, then they'll not be able to gain all the skills that STEM subjects can offer them. That is developing all the futuristic skills like being inventive with creativity, research and development skills. So all these skills are actually necessary for their future ahead. And if they are not able to do it, then they may lag behind in our fast-paced world. And students do realize that they need and want to learn all the career-oriented skills in their curriculum. Next slide, please. As a solution, NevilLabs, an experiential learning platform, offers a seamless future-focused education for children of secondary and higher secondary classes, which is backed by research-proven EdTech solutions. There are actually many research that's being conducted to show that experiential learning is pretty useful for STEM subjects, especially the one that was done by Edgar Dale, who had who was a professor at Ohio State University for more than 40 years. He developed a methodology which is now famously known as learning pyramid, where he said that the more concrete ways of learning a concept is using experiential learning, that is direct purposeful experiences. So NevilLabs is trying to do that. And with our platform, we want every student to learn every concept of STEM related subjects, that's math and science, and apply these concepts in creative ways and experiment with it in our interactive simulator. And they could assemble the kits that is extracted from the simulator and see their simulated results in reality. Next slide, please. So as said by Albert Einstein, the only source of knowledge is experience, and NevilLabs is trying to give that to students. So our platform helps students learn every math and science concept, apply these concepts creatively on real world applications, and experiment with it, and also experience various STEM fields so that they can know what is that they want to do in their higher studies or in their future as a career. And they could actually see these simulated results instantly on our simulator, and they could export their own kits from the simulator and assemble the kits and see the simulated results in reality. So this is a solution. Next slide, please. And the key benefits of NevilLabs is that students can learn every concept in interesting ways, which ignites their curious minds to be inquisitive, and they can develop all the futuristic skills that STEM subjects can offer them. That is, know all the practical applications of every concept, and learn to be creative and innovative problem solvers. Learn to have research and development skills and get personalized career guidance. All of this, they will also be academically successful. Next slide, please. And our approach as a go-to-market strategy is that we want to first focus on D2C customers so that we could build a strong brand and have a unique identity that can resonate with parents and students. So for our D2C, we want to do it as a self-service strategy, provide a freemium on our learning platform to create brand awareness and create network of users. So we want to do it using online customer acquisition with strong messaging on blogs on our website, use SEOs, use social media, email marketing. And for targeting schools, we want to do it using sales model so that we could partner with them and offer our platform as a part of curriculum. Next slide, please. So our users are mostly students and teachers of grade 6 to grade 12, and our paying customers are parents at schools. So our customers in India mostly belong to Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities, and our users mostly follow CBSE, ICSE, and international board syllabus. Next slide, please. So there are about 160 million children of aged 10 to 17 in India. So even if we target 5% of top 5 Indian urban cities, we could generate more than $10 million of revenue. And scaling it to serviceable available market and become a market leader, we could generate more than $1 billion of yearly revenue. Next slide, please. And how are we going to do this? So we are a product-led growth SaaS company. So we want to offer monthly subscription plans per user for our experimental platform and have custom pricing for personalized kits. So first we want to monetize at the student level and then go to school level. So right now we are growing our community of users who loves us and monetize just our learning platform. And then we want to monetize our experimental platform for a monthly subscription price of rupees 4,999, which is about $60. So if we target like 5% of top 5 Indian urban cities, then we could generate more than $10 million of monthly revenue. And once we target scale it to 4% of available market in India, then for the same monthly subscription plan, we could generate more than $350 million of revenue. Next slide, please. So how are we different comparing to other EdTech solutions who are just focused on academics or developing skills? NevilLabs provides a one-stop solution for students with all the benefits that they can get. So and help them, first of all, help them be academically successful, develop all the futuristic skills that STEM subjects can offer them, and learn all the practical applications of every concept that they come across, get personalized guidance. And NevilLabs aims to land and expand on 3 important vectors of growth. Next slide, please. So these are some of the questions for Shamana.
So a couple of questions for you, Neha. First and foremost, you are consulting, so you have a way of generating some
Yes.
income, paying your bills, etc. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
keep that, because this kind of a business will require some, blocking and tackling on a bootstrap mode. So the word that I hear a lot in your pitch is every subject and every, STEM discipline. Every is a very dangerous word, because this kind of a vision is going to require tremendous amount of content development, right? If you want to do every STEM discipline and all these grades, this is going to require a tremendous amount of content, and you have to align everything to ICSE, CBSE. Each of those have their own nuances, etc. So bootstrapping works when you can pick one entry point that monetizes quickly. So the first question you're going to need to answer is, what is our entry point? What grade, what STEM discipline, what is the software content that you're going to go to market with, and how will you go to market with that? So the only way you will be able to, and how quickly can that monetize? Freemium is another very dangerous word. This is for all of you who are listening. Freemium conversion rates are terrible, abysmal. 4% freemium to premium conversion is free to premium conversion is considered astronomical. So it's very difficult to bootstrap using freemium models, because you have expenses to support a freemium model. There is a lot of expenses, but it doesn't turn into revenue very quickly. So my guidance to you would be to pick one subject, one grade, one discipline where you build something that is going to be of interest to a few schools, so that you can go directly, you do a free trial and then go directly into B2B revenue generation. That is my number one feedback. We can come back to other things. I think these questions about brand are less important at the moment. At the moment, your number one question to answer are number one and number two on your slide here. How do you bootstrap? How do you validate? And that's going to be, first figure out which grade, which discipline, and which schools do you want to work with to bring this to market, and forget B2C for the moment. So B2B, bootstrap, one discipline, go to market directly into revenue, free trial revenue. Okay, we can come back to other questions that you might have, but let me go to Arpita next. Cashvisory. Arpita, please unmute your line.
Yes. Thanks, Romana. So introducing to you India's first financial GPS to bring wealth planning to every young professional through our automated scalable solution. So we aim to solve the financial advisory gap for the youth of India in the most youthful way possible. My co-founder Utkarsh and I, we have engineering background, but a combined experience of 12 years in financial advisory, where we have handled hundreds of clients with millions of dollars in AUM. And during working that time as colleagues, we figured some of the major gaps in this space, and we set out on the mission to solve personal finance for the youth of India. So next slide. Before we get too much into about ourselves, let me introduce you to someone very special, which is Priya. Priya is our ideal customer. She was 22-year-old tech graduate when she moved to a very big city like Bangalore to pursue her career. And being the first woman in her family to do that, it was extremely overwhelming. And too many things on her plate to handle, and personal finance inevitably fell off the radar, because that's not something that's taught to her in school or at home. So for the first 5 years in her career, the money was just sitting in the bank. Then when she decided to do something, a very smart friend of hers advised her to get a unit-linked plan to serve her insurance and investment needs. So she started paying for the plan, and she got stuck for it for next 20 years. And only after 5 years of paying for it, she realized that actually it's not serving either insurance or investment needs. So the key point here is that Priya is not alone. Next slide, please. There's currently 120 million of the young urban population in India that is not being served by the financial advisory ecosystem. The advisors that are serving this population are essentially product distributors. So you can imagine another mutual fund distributor or an insurance agent coming and selling the same ULIP to Priya. And there are quality advisors, but very focused on HNI segment. So 20 to 30,000 rupees fee is not affordable in Priya's starting salary. Then digital platforms like Zerodha and Grow, they are execution focused with too many options and hardly any guidance. So that leaves the youth, with decision paralysis, and essentially they don't take any action or make wrong decisions. Now that's very dangerous because they miss out on the most important compounding opportunity of their lives and will not be able to break out of the orbit. Next slide, please. So we are building a completely digital DIY solution to help these people make key financial decisions by providing a big picture of their finances. You can imagine it like a financial GPS that guides these digitally native audience from point A to point B in order to build their wealth. Next slide, please. So essentially, when Priya comes onto the platform, first thing we do is to understand her, give her the scorecard and tell her, hey, you need to push your savings up to 20% every month. You need to build up your emergency funds, get the right kind of insurance. And then we help her dream, like, what she could be in the next 20, 30, 40 years. There's a real-time what-if analysis to help her see what if she saved more than 5,000 rupees more every month, how will it impact her retirement 40 years down the line? Then she is presented with her custom-made portfolio along with the rationale of why she should be investing there. So with this knowledge of where, how, and why to invest, she is finally confident to click that invest now button. And because we are advisory focused, we are able to tell her that, Priya, don't buy that ULIP, get the term plan and invest the rest. Throughout the user journey, she is also assisted with very easy to digest, relevant, bite-sized educational content so that she can continue her learning. So we have a very extensive product roadmap, which is focused on personalization and customization with AI and ML. One of the more interesting things coming up would be our AI-powered financial advisory chatbot. We are also integrating with account aggregators to make the customer onboarding extremely smooth with a one-click consent-based process. Next slide, please. Competitive landscape, on the left hand quadrant, you would see the digital platforms, and this is a very fun, well-funded space. We are not looking to disrupt, but add the much needed layer of advisory over here. The bottom quadrants are the human-based advisory services, which are expensive and not scalable. So we are best positioned to provide this fully digital DIY comprehensive financial planning to the young generation on the, if you see the top right quadrant on the extreme end. Next slide, please. So we ran a very in-depth user testing and feedback exercise with more than 200 users, and we got an NPS of 40 and a likelihood of product retention of 78%. You can also see some of the user testimonials here on the screen. Next slide, please. And we continued that approach as we did our soft launch, and we did a number of corporate sessions with employees. Without any direct selling, we saw 25% people signing up onto the platform, and we collected more than 1,200 email leads, more than 250 users onboarded, and currently we have an AUM of 2 to 3 lakhs from these users. We also have business partnerships ongoing. 10 of these conversations are happening as we speak, and 2 of them have already closed. Next slide, please. So we are looking at a TAM of 120 million with a very conservative revenue number of 2,000 rupees. That's a $3 billion market opportunity. There's a SAM of 12.6 million of robo-advisory users, which is expected to explode to 45 million by 2027. For revenue sources, we are looking again at freemium subscription to keep the barrier to entry low. And you can see the revenue projections and user projections on the slide on the right. Next slide, please. For GTM, we are focusing very heavily on B2B2C distribution strategy. So we are looking at strategic partnerships with complementary fintech businesses so that we can leverage the existing distribution channels, and that keeps our GTM highly scalable and our CAC low. As we inch closer to the first 2,000 to 5,000 users, then we can get our word of mouth and digital marketing strategy to have a full funnel approach. Next slide, please. So we feel that this is the best time to go into the market with this solution because execution services have already gone digital, and it's just a matter of time that as advisory will go digital as well, and especially with things like account aggregator coming in, it's just a matter of time. So yeah, that brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much.
So Arpita, this is going to be a very big space. So from a space point of view, opportunity point of view, this is going to be very big. It is already, starting to heat up. And this is one of the areas where actually generative AI is going to have a big impact.
Yeah, absolutely. We were so excited.
Yeah, conversation. So, but to leverage generative AI, you will need access to data. You cannot build a generative AI system without domain-specific data.
Yeah.
So again, I come back to that question of, is freemium the right go-to-market strategy? Why wouldn't you build this as white label solutions?
Absolutely. Very well pointed out. In our B2B2C strategy, we are in discussions with white label solution. Currently, we have not exactly put it in a pricing model for it because some of the pilots have yet to start, and we were focusing highly on getting the end consumer onboarded with the business partnership. But if we are able to monetize,
you won't have the data to build real models without partners who have a lot of bank accounts and a lot of data on which to train your models. You will not be able to train your models. So there's a data gap that you're going to face trying to do this as a B2C solution. So I agree, it needs to be B2B2C or maybe B2B, white label B2B. So you have to figure out what is the I would go to banks, not just fintechs. I would go to banks that, have a lot of users and just slap this on top of their services. There are very interesting companies developing. There's a Brazilian company that has been acquired for a lot of money, like $1 billion plus valuation. That is basically fintech, but they have that strategy of white labeling, banking solutions into banks. So I think my assessment of this business is going to be, whoever is going to win this is going to be the one who goes most effectively into the banks and can turn the banks into fintech.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. But also a challenge, I think. Would love to hear if you have any inputs on how to crack the B2B model. Yeah.
Well, there are certain banks that are early adopters. If you look around in India, they're everywhere. In India also, there are certain banks that are the early adopters. You're gonna need to find your way into those banks. And at this point, there are the easiest way to do this is going through LinkedIn, navigating your network, since you've worked in wealth management, you probably have a bit of a network in wealth management. And those banks that are early adopters have like chief innovation officers, and their CIOs are highly innovation oriented. They're kind of geared to work with startups. So you're going to need to network your way into those individuals. And I'm sure those individuals are very prominent on LinkedIn. So if you start doing a search on LinkedIn on who those individuals are, and then you have to network your way into those individuals.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely we'll try that approach. But thanks so much. That's a different take on the B2B2C strategy we're doing.
You're welcome. All right, we can come back to more questions from you, Arpita, unless you want to go to sleep.
Yeah, sorry, I might have to drop off, but would love to stay in touch.
Absolutely, no problem. Prerna, you're next. Could you please unmute your line? Yes, go ahead.
So, hello Shramna and my fellow entrepreneurs. My name is Prerna and I'm the founder of Ecoplore. Ecoplore is India's largest platform for booking sustainable hotels. Next slide, please. So the idea of building Ecoplore was to promote sustainable tourism and conserve nature. So it's like you're going on a holiday, but at the same time, you are reducing your carbon footprint and you're contributing to conservation of nature. Next slide, please. So the problem statement for us was that total contribution to carbon emission, towards carbon emission by tourism industry is almost 8%, which is quite huge. And there are very, very few people, or almost negligible, who would think that how much carbon footprint they are generating during their holidays. We all are talking about climate change, sustainability, but holiday is like one of the last thing where people would apply their mind and think and choose very wisely on the basis of carbon emission. So that is we wanted to capture that space where we want to make travel sustainable. And we chose being an aggregator because there are many aggregators for booking hotels, but till date, at least I do not know any aggregator in India which only promotes and books sustainable hotels. So we up the backslide. So the solution was to build an aggregator website where people can find a list of sustainable hotels and go and book them. Next slide, please. How do you define that which hotel is sustainable and which is not? So we decided to take up two mandatory criteria. So all the hotels which are promoted by Ecoplore have at least 30% tree coverage inside their campus, and the building of these hotels are made out of mud, wood, bamboo, stone, or any local architecture. So we do not promote concrete buildings at all. This is like a very good time for a concept like this to emerge successful, because especially post-COVID, when people were locked inside their houses for almost 2 years, they realized the value of nature, and they wanted to go to places which are actually in the nature rather than staying in concrete hotels. They started looking for alternative accommodations like homestays or eco resorts or eco stays, which are actually inside. We have properties which have waterfalls, which have water streams inside their campuses, and the minimum area or an average area of our hotels are around 1 acre per hotel, in which 30%, more than 30% is green. And we have hotels which are in 250 acres and 300 acres also. Next slide, please. So if we talk about the market size, according to a survey, total $900 billion is the total market size of global tourism industry. $333 billion is the total size of the ecotourism industry, and this is going to grow further and further. Out of this, if we actually try to, if we have the right sources of marketing and the automation and technology, which I'm going to talk about in future, and that's why we are pitching here, then Ecoplore can easily earn around $8 million by 2026.
So what is your business model? Is it a commission on?
Yes, that is what it is there in the next slide. So basically, I've already almost covered these points, but let's go to the business model. Let's go to the business model. So we charge almost 20% on an average as commission for doing the marketing. And if somebody books directly from the hotel or they book through our platform, there is no major change in the pricing, because this is the marketing price which we are charging from the hotels and not from the customers. An average ticket size of our hotels are around 6,000 per room per night, which includes breakfast for 2 adults and their accommodation. And plus a lot of activities, because all our hotels have at least 8 to 10 activities which people can engage in while staying in the hotel, and they do not need to go for sightseeing. And right now our customer acquisition cost is almost negligible, because we are fully dependent on organic social media marketing and word of mouth. And the repeat rate of guest is almost 20%, and we have been functional since 2019. Next slide, please. So if we talk about our financials and our revenue, of course, during the COVID time, it was very less, but on an average in the last 3 years, we have the revenue of around 12 to 15 lakhs per year. And we have 250 plus eco hotels across the country, which we have personally visited and verified. That's something very different from other aggregators, because the other OTAs or aggregators, they do not take the pain of verifying and personally visiting every hotel, while we have done that. And we do this because we want to focus on the quality of these stays. And on an average, every hotel has like 10 to 12 rooms. So our total inventory size is around 2,700. The ask right now is 5 crore in Indian rupees, and out of which 40% we want to focus on automating the entire booking engine of our website, and almost 40% will be spending on the marketing and the sales part. Next slide, please. So we have been recognized by different platforms, including the United Nations, who mentioned that we are fulfilling SDG 12 as a company. We have been covered by multiple organizations, and in 2019, which was our year of launch and registration, we got our Indian Responsible Tourism Award, which is the highest award in the field of responsible tourism in India. Next slide, please.
So let's start getting into feedback.
Sure.
Since you put on the table funding, we need to look at whether this deal is fundable or not.
Yes.
From 2019 to 2022, this has been a very, by the standards of investors that work with tech startups, this is a slow growth business. Tech startups are trying to go from 0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years. I don't think your business has those characteristics. So most likely, you're going to have to build this as a bootstrap business. So my guidance to you is that do not bank on this 5 crore financing. You're going to need to figure out how to grow in a bootstrap manner. And there's no alternative to this, because the bottom line of funding, and I'm saying this for all of you who are considering funding, you have to either bootstrap to fundability or you have to bootstrap to sustainability. Those are the only two options. And fundability means you have to credibly be able to present a pitch where, and a story with evidence that you have figured out how to grow from 0 or 1 million to 100 million in 5 to 7 years, which is a very difficult thing to do. Hyper growth is not a natural state of business. Most businesses grow in a steady, linear way. They don't grow in a hockey stick exponential way. So, if funding is something that you're banking on, there's a lot of work that needs to happen before you can become fundable. So you need to really figure out your bootstrapping strategy, Prerna.
So I have a question on this. Like, I myself wanted to focus on bootstrapping, and we have been doing that. I mean, we have not gone for any fundraise till now. But right now, why we want to go for it is because of automation. Like, we almost
it's not a question of whether you want to go for it or not. You're not fundable, so there's no point that you go for fundability. You don't determine when you want to go for funding. You have to base your decision. When to go for funding is a strategic decision. And that strategic decision is predicated upon your readiness. And if you're not fundable, and if you go for funding, all you're going to get is 50 rejections from investors. And that's going to waste your time. It's going to ruin your moral. It's going to destroy your morale. I've been there. I've done it. So
I totally agree with you, and that is the reason, like, I myself believe in bootstrapping, and I'm happy going slow and steady, because I'm satisfied with the way we have been, whatever progress we have received, because the idea also is to, so for us, what is more important is the impact part and the customer, the change in the customer behavior. That is what we are trying to bring.
Our philosophy in 1 million by 1 million is entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits.
I agree.
Financing is optional, exit is optional. So you don't need to feel the pressure of, oh, I have to raise funding because my, my ecosystem is telling me I need to be funded. No, so you define success. Your success, you have defined your success as impact. That's great. I've defined my success as impact too.
But the only point is we are not able to increase our conversion rate because people want to book their hotels on an immediate basis. Right now we do manual conversion, which takes a lot of to and fro, and a lot of time is wasted from our side also and from the customer side also. So
you have to figure out how to do that on a bootstrap basis. There's no choice.
That's what I have been working on for the last 3 years, but automation needs a lot of money, and tech, like we all talk about being a tech startup or technology, but technology is super expensive. Like if you really want to go.
But Prerna, you don't have the option of raising money.
Okay. Then I should
do you guys, all of you, including the audience, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you that you do not, if you're not fundable, there's no point trying to raise money. You are not fundable. You have to accept that as the reality of the market and either build yourself up to the point where you're fundable or become sustainable and grow slowly, become sustainable. And that's just, those are your options. You don't have the option of going for funding right now. Period.
And is taking a loan a good idea?
It's a loaded question. Taking a loan from whom, on what terms?
No, from the bank, not from individuals.
Yeah, I think, it's okay. That kind of funding is what you're going to be able to get. Because you have a little bit of track record now. You've been in business for 4 years. You are, generating revenues and so forth. And since you have survived, you have been profitable. Otherwise, you would not have survived. So bank financing is what is going to be available. Then comes the question is, what kind of bank financing? Are they asking for collaterals, personal collaterals, personal guarantee, or, they don't like working capital loans. They like to give you term loans, but what you need is working capital loans. Those are the considerations.
So actually, we want to go for the fund schemes which the government provides. So government has some loans which they provide for women. And since in our context, in the context of Ecoplore, it's a women-founded company. Yeah. Majority of the team members are women, and it is working on environment and social entrepreneurship. So there's a lot of these, I'll say brownie points on the basis of which we can reach out to the government. Some scheme could be there from where either we could get
that is a better use of your time than trying to go after the venture capital industry.
I totally agree.
So banks, some variation of bank financing may be a solution. Okay, let's move on to the next pitch. Aruhima, you are next.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Aruhima. We have a designer fine diamond jewelry platform that is Zevaraati. So we have a social media handler on Instagram, Facebook page, and we have a website also. Next slide, please. Okay. So our targeted customers are in the age group of 25 to 50. So in which working women, housewives, and socialites are included. Zevaraati personally believes that jewelry is the part of the consumer's personality, irrespective of whatever role they play in their life. So we design crafted as per the industry trends and consumer taste using diamonds, color stones, enameling, and lab-grown diamond. Next slide, please. Okay. So the value proposition is, first thing is competitive pricing. And why we doing that since we do not have our own infrastructure and we all outsource our manufacturing, so which enables us to pass on maximum benefits to the consumer by offering products at comparatively lower prices than our competitors. We also customize design as per the consumer's preference, considering the feasibility and durability of the product. Specializations with no compromise over quality of material used. So we personally think that the like today's trend is minimalistic jewelry. Okay, but I have considered that there are some loopholes in the manufacturing. So Zevaraati is not always considered lightweight jewelry. It should be durable if you are wearing it in daily wear. Next slide, please. Okay. So our target would be both males and females, because in India, that jewelry purchase is a collective decision of that particular family. So we keep this topmost priority while designing our designs, and we try and keep the influencers and buyers on the same page while making the purchase decision. So in our online segment, that we are targeting initially the metro cities, wherein the online purchase probability is higher as compared to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. But I would like to mention cities like Nagpur, Nasik, and Pune. So why I'm considering this? Because this is a home to corporate hubs and as well as education hubs, which will enable us to target the right group of consumers. So now the main points, pain point, that we never compromise our quality of product as per industry standards at affordable prices. So, and in that we give a personal touch. What exactly that means? That when we are making some jewelry for any customers, okay, so from ideation of the design to the finished product, we ensure higher customer satisfaction. Next slide, please. In our online segment, we have already done brand awareness through our online platforms like Instagram, website, and Facebook. We have done some giveaways. We give referral discounts to the customer and market customer success through testimonials. So right now, as I know that in India, 50 to 60% customers are not willing to buy jewelry, especially jewelry, diamond jewelry, with any online platform. So we are trying to make a presence in offline brands also. So now we can do like collabs with local fashion brands and event planners, participate in jewelry and fashion exhibitions to connect with consumers, and conducting standalone exhibitions in various cities to tap new market and get customers insight. Next slide, please. Okay, so my challenges are that since we are bootstrapped, so the major challenge is brand awareness, as the majority of our orders till now are by word of mouth or referrals. And in online segment, online jewelry purchase is just 4 to 5% of total jewelry purchase in India. So should we stay online only, or should we explore offline selling as well? And how we can do that? And also, I want to increase my sources of market research and consumer insight to rework our strategy also. So, and there is a one question also, ma'am, that how AI can I can use AI, or how it can be useful for me on
Don't worry about AI right now. Let's get to the basics. There are a lot of basic issues that need to be addressed here. If you look at the history of jewelry sales, especially diamond jewelry sales online, the first company that broke into this market was a company called Blue Nile in America. You know that. You're familiar with that. Are you familiar with Blue Nile?
Yes.
So Blue Nile's primary insight was, in America, people don't necessarily have, in India, you have weddings to go to and stuff. So people are more, people have more places to wear diamond jewelry, but in America, the bulk of diamond jewelry purchase is done by men, not by women, as engagement rings. So that was the insight around which Blue Nile was built. And the male consumer buys differently than a female consumer. This is what Blue Nile understood, is the male consumer looks at the value of diamond and makes a decision. It's a simple engagement ring. It's, they make a decision on the shape of the diamond, the cut, the clarity, etc. There is a variety of different parameters, and the price. So they created like this little widget on their website using which men can educate themselves on diamond. And that's how they created a very large public company, hundreds of millions of dollars, and that worked. In India, the equivalent of that came from Latent View, not Latent View. What is the name of the company that does same thing in India? We've done the case study of this company. Tell me, what do you know? What?
Carrot Lane or Bluestone.
Carrot Lane.
There is Melora, Carrot Lane, Bluestone.
Carrot Lane.
The first one that cracked this market. We have the case study of Carrot Lane.
Okay.
And the thing is, in Indian jewelry purchase behavior is different. The engagement ring does not feature so big in Indian jewelry purchase. In Indian jewelry purchase, the wedding is big, right? The big driver of jewelry purchase in India is the wedding. So what I was missing from your presentation here is any awareness or any reference to the wedding being the trigger event that drives jewelry purchase. So your audience, if you look at what you presented as your audience, 25 to 50-year-old women, I'm not sure if that is the audience. The audience is whoever is in the family, whoever is responsible for planning the jewelry, the trousseau of that family's wedding planning. So that's the mother, usually, maybe mother, grandmother, and today in the modern woman's horizon, there is also a lot of input from the bride or the bride-to-be. So if I were positioning this brand, I would position it around that whole user experience and that whole use case of helping people plan a jewelry purchase acquisition in the context of a wedding and figure out the influencers of the jewelry purchase in the context of a wedding. This is not a market that has maybe anniversaries. Maybe, again, if it's anniversaries that you want to go after, then it's probably the male who's buying the jewelry, etc., etc. So those nuances are missing here. You're kind of going in as a Me Too. It's not differentiated, it's not positioned. You're going in as a Me Too. We also sell diamond jewelry, and it needs a lot more sharpening of your positioning, and then accordingly your go-to-market strategy is going to come out of that, but you need to decide where you want to position this brand. So there is a possibility that you could also position as a brand that specifically speaks to men who are buying gifts for their wives, for anniversaries or whatever. That's another possibility, but whichever direction you go to, I would suggest that you focus on something and really drive that point home and brand around that instead of trying to be everything to everybody. And this, again, to all of you who are listening to this conversation, sharp positioning, laser sharp positioning is what gives you differentiation. If you try to be everything to everybody, you're nothing to anybody. And that's where you really need to educate yourselves on how to do great positioning. So I think the first order of business is to really decide how you want to position, where you want to position, and the rest of the answers to your question, online, offline, hybrid, etc., all of that is going to get derived out of that question. For example, I think if you're selling to men, online is a fine channel, but I bet your website doesn't speak to men. It speaks to women.
Yes, ma'am.
So that
But ma'am,
these are and these are all different positioning options, and you have to figure out which one you're comfortable with and which one you want to go for. The blue dial strategy is an excellent strategy, and I've seen that being executed really, really well. Okay.
okay.
Thank you, Ruhi.
Thank you,
You're
ma'am.
next. You're welcome.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Ruhi Kurele and I'm the founder of DermaQ. We are building a digital clinic for preventive skin and hair care primarily for men. So I would want to take you through numbers on why we are looking at the preventive skin and hair care space. So in India, at least 50% of Indian men between the age group of 30 and 50 deal with some form of baldness. Now, not just this, other numbers are also alarming. So in the last 4 to 5 years, the cases of early baldness, which is men below 30, it has seen a 50% increase. Not just this, the number of, say, in dandruff, pigmentation, or acne, or related skin or hair disease, the numbers are alarming. Now, if we look at the number of doctors that we have in India, can you please move to next slide? Hi, am I audible?
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Yeah. So now all of this has led to the increased need of preventive health care. But the issue is that we have both one dermatologist per 140,000 individuals. Now this has led to consultation being priced exorbitantly, and the kind of hand holding or the personalization required, especially in the case of baldness, where people are also dealing with lower self-esteem is missing in some way or the other form. And also in baldness, so it's not that you cure it, you fix the problem, but you need to be on certain medications or treatment forever for your life, right? So now what we are trying to build is a platform which is powered by artificial intelligence and doctors, and give a very personalized treatment case based on various cases. Can you please move to next slide? Yeah. So what we are looking to build is a platform that not only focuses on, say, medications or product, but also on fixing lifestyle and diet, because skin and hair is also connected with how much you sleep, what you eat, what you drink. So we're looking to build a platform wherein the first level of analysis happens through an AI tool, wherein we look at various health vitals and ask certain set of questions that helps us with the analysis of what the root cause could be for the hair loss. uh, and when I say hair loss, we primarily want to start with hair loss, and then we want to go to the skin side of the business. Based on the hair health vitals, we want to put them on certain medication. Along with that, we also want to help them with fixing their lifestyle that will help them fix their problem, or keep it at check much better than just a medication would do. Not just this, we've also partnered with various clinics. We realize that, say, in baldness, which is from stage 1 to stage 7, especially from stage 5 to stage 7, now the user requires some kind of in-person treatment. Not everyone, but most of that, in most of the cases, we've seen that there are services like PRP or a hair transplant, which a user wants to get. Now we don't want to leave this our users on this journey. So what we do is, for, say, stage 1 to stage 7, when it comes to medication, those products will be our in-house products, which we would be providing to our users. But in cases wherein they require treatment, we will connect them with our partner clinics. Please move to next slide. Yeah. So a user can come on our platform, take the do the analysis, can speak to the doctor, because after speaking to almost 200 users, we realized that although no matter how much of AI you build, when it comes to healthcare, the trust primarily comes from the doctor. So in the process, once the analysis is done, we want to bring in doctor in the picture, wherein they uh, uh, inform them of what the root cause. Of course, we've told them that the root cause is this, but when it comes to giving them the medicines, or how long this journey would be, then the doctors consult them, and post that we put them on medicines. Also, some form of medications like, say, a finasteride or a minoxidil require prescription. Post that, we deliver these product to our users, and in baldness it's usually around 6 to 8 months to see some form of result, to see drastic result. And if in cases, as I said, that if they require in-person treatment, then we connect them to our partner clinics. Please move to next slide. Now to answer the question of why are we looking to build at this point of time. So if we look at the personal care market primarily from the women perspective, the market has kind of evolved. But when we look from the men perspective, because of the internet, social media platform, men are also, want to look their best. They are connected with, their friends and family. And they have also started looking at taking care of themselves. And if we look at some of the numbers, the growth in the men grooming space has been there's been 45% growth in the space. So we are primarily going after this space because we feel that the market is in the evolving phase and a lot can be done in this space. Please move to next slide. Now, the market potential for the dermatology space is enormous. It's a 35 billion market, personal care and dermatology combined, out of which dermatology make around 5 billion. It will be 5 billion by the year 2030. And if we look at the recent market movement, there have been a lot of merger and acquisition, primarily in the dermatology space. So we are looking to have a revenue of around 54 million by the year 5. And we launched our platform. Please move to next slide. So it's been almost 2.5 months of launching our platform. We did a soft launch and we've done a revenue of around 1.7 lakh. So
What
right now,
model?
Sorry?
What is your business model? So one for all of you who are listening, when you present your market size, your revenue projections, etc., you have to start with business model, because really what market size we're looking for is bottom-up TAM analysis. And bottom-up TAM analysis is a derivative of your business model and your pricing model. So without putting up the business model and pricing model first, how can you get to TAM analysis and revenue projection? So make sure that you have this in the right order, but please go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So our cart size is almost around 2,500, and in India, at least, so we are looking at individuals who are earning, say, around upward of 5 to 6 lakh, or come from the family household that have a yearly income of around 15 plus lakh. So if we look at our numbers, which is primarily 22 to 45-year-old individual, we're looking to target around 80 lakh individuals who have the capacity or are going through such problem, who have the spending capacity. So if we manage to acquire around 6 lakh of customer by 5 years, and if we look at the say repeat rate of around thrice, so somebody who comes on our platform buys up to 3 times, then we are looking at a revenue of 54 million. And as I said, that we launched our product in the month of platform, like we're just doing consultations. So our business model is that we help people identify the problem. Post that, we do the consultation and then come selling our own set of products. So a user come on our platform. We are a clinic and an e-pharmacy, you can say, a telemedicine platform, wherein a user come, gets their analysis. We closely work with them on fixing their lifestyle, diet, because we connect our devices with their wearables. We track their sleeping habits. We help them with diet. And then we give them the set of products. We closely work with them. So user comes on our platform, takes the consultation, does the test, buys our product. And if at all the user requires, then they go to the clinic for in-person treatment.
Is the consultation paid or free?
It's paid. Right now we are charging. We're not giving the consultation for free.
Good.
So we haven't launched our own set of products because we are in the healthcare space. So we wanted to do some kind of testing in sense of what are the kind of product the doctor is writing and what is getting repeated in, different prescriptions. So now we have identified a set of products which we want to manufacture. So all the revenue that we are showing is largely through selling third-party products.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's about the kind of revenue that we're looking for. In terms of team, I am the founder. I have over 10 years of experience in media and strategy and political consulting firm. I worked with the top media houses of the country. I also worked with national parties like Congress, BJP in the last Lok Sabha and Assembly, various assembly posts, and have been part of the winning campaigns. Post that, I took up a personal political project and then found my calling that I wanted to build something in the tech and healthcare space.
Right. So, and the domain expertise is coming from these people who are advisors. There's no in-house domain expert. Did Ruhi get disconnected?
Yes, that's how it looks like.
It's like it. Okay. All right. She's there though. This looks like she's there. Okay, we'll go back to the Q&A on Ruhi's stuff. Let's go to Aryah because we have a very tight schedule. Aryah, why don't we listen to your pitch?
Sure. Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Aryah from India, Delhi. My strength is I found my calling with the rural communities. I created this social enterprise called iVillage. So to take you through this, I would just press on the presentations. We could go to the next slide, and I'll tell you what this is about. So I realized in Ernst & Young when I was there for 5 years, and before that in US when I worked with a financial firm, I just somewhere something was not clicking, and it's like now is a time when I could see I understood that there is sustainable opportunities that we need to create. And ever since COVID has come, we all realize that plastic can be definitely replaced by cottons and sustainable options. And also, most importantly, there was a huge poverty situation in India with the rural communities, and that's where I wanted to create a business around that. So this was my first calling. Like that's how I started thinking about it, and now one can turn it into sustainable goals. So the problem that I identified very majorly was the overuse of plastic that is happening in India, and India is a very major contributor of plastic. So I know someday we have to cut down on this plastic and come up with solutions. Sooner the better. So, and my study tells me that it is major contribution comes from flexible packaging. Flexible packaging is this kind of stuff. When you buy a shirt, it comes in a plastic. When you buy shoes, it comes in plastic. Those are called flexible packaging, or anything that covers so that dust doesn't go in. So this is what another problem was, yes, rising poverty levels and worsening inequality. And mostly Indians who live in rural India are migrating to cities in search of job. So idea was to create job opportunities in the village, which now the government is also trying to do. So I started this about 7 years early ahead of time. And the solution that I came up with was, the next slide would help, please. Yeah, so we go with clockwise with the clock. So sustainable options like bags and wall clocks and many other similar things. We have a whole catalog full of it. Created by women who live in the village, and it'll help us eliminate poverty and stop the migration, and it'll also lead to cost effective production because the infrastructure cost is not too high. Yes, there's a logistic aspect to it, but it is when I've been doing it for 7 years, and it is still manageable compared to the infrastructure cost that it would be when you set up similar kind of factory in metros. So how do I plan on deploying the solution? Instead of selling it B2C, my expertise comes in selling it B2B. So we connect with grocery stores and tell them, take carry bags from us, like something that Big Bazaar has been doing for a while. We reach out to shoe manufacturers and tell them, we can stop the cotton, the plastic, the paper, etc. And the boxes, and you could start giving them in cotton bags, which people can retain over a period of time. Similarly for lifestyle brands, so we are already working with some and have made them move to cotton bags for their shopping bag, for the packaging purpose. So this is how we are working B2B on sustainable options. My value proposition is our beneficiary is the millennial who want to move towards a sustainable living. What we are offering is utility-based products made of sustainable materials and which are created in villages of India. The problem that we are solving is sustainable future and equitable future, where there are opportunities for women.
Is the price point comparable to the plastic bags?
It is comparable to the paper bag, definitely not to the plastic bags. However, there's conscious buyer who is ready to move to the to cotton bags, to cloth in place of plastics.
Well, cloth is also reusable.
Yes. Cloth is reusable. Yeah, that is why, if you see over a period of time, you eventually end up spending less. So how we are positioning it is, if you sell in terms of marketing, as a marketing aspect, you're eventually spending less when people are using your bags repeatedly. So the cost of per use and recall value is much higher. So the marketing spend becomes more valuable. The the TAM, SAM, and SOM is, we did a very basic maths where cotton shoe cover market in India, just in India, is 80 million, and we cut it down by 1/10 that, and then further by 1/10, just so that this is the minimum that we can serve at the moment with our production capacity. And similarly, we did same thing to bags. Bags is a huge market, obviously, so that was 3.8, but we cut it down by 1/10 and 1/10 because that is the minimum cotton carry bag market that we identified. And similarly for sustainable gifting, that we cut down by 100. And therefore, as of now, the market comes to be around 10 crores for India. That is only for basic stuff that we are making. Moment we add to more products, then the market size becomes bigger and bigger. So right now I'm only focusing on cotton bags, shoe covers, cotton bags, and carry
And what
carry
is your
bags.
current revenue?
Current revenue is, we had a dip after COVID. This is 1 crore. This quarter, however, we clocked in 40 lakhs in the first quarter, and the projection is to go back to 3 crores. We have been doing business for 7 years, and so far we have clocked in 15 crores.
Okay.
A little bit of our competition is, our competition is B2C and B2B. Majorly it is B2B, but we also sell on Amazon and we also sell to some of the retail stores, and we are pitching to some of the retail stores. We just started. So this is two competition lines, and then there is unethically sourced cotton bags, which is our biggest competitor because the quality is not good, the price point is too low. To match that is very tough. However, we are able to match price and quality in the B2B and B2C segment very comfortably. And then there are cotton bags by artisans. Competitive advantage is because, like I said, the infrastructure cost is low if we are in the village. So we are able to provide a decent cost advantage to our clients. The other thing is, yes, it is, like I said, sustainable goals, which is conscious production, conscious consumption. Families don't have to migrate, so they stay in the same place. Also, this also helps us in reducing cost and giving quality over a period of time, because my team doesn't change. Attrition rate is very, very low. So I do not spend a lot of time and effort on that aspect.
Yeah.
Yes, so far traction has been, this is a timeline. In 2016 is when we started with 22 rural women. In 2018, we grew about 115. We also had a new production center, which is 3,000 square feet. In 2020, we started, our exports grew much higher, and we had a good sales office in a very prime location on MG Road, Delhi. And then in 2021, we got adjusted to pandemic and we created face masks. So my strength is hand stitched products, which is whatever comes at that time. So that was face masks. We made like 8.5 lakh face masks, even before when the market could open for face masks, like when it was still locked down. So some of the corporates we worked with.
And so most of your production is in North India and around Delhi?
Yes, for now it is UP. That's where I come from. I live in Metro, and my production is in UP.
In UP, okay.
In Anupshire, which is around 350 kilometers from Delhi Airport.
Wonderful, congratulations. Very, very good execution so far.
Thank you. So this is the latest stats, which has been the lowest in our revenue this year and the highest in terms of our loss. However, this is also because of the COVID and we are coming back, especially in village. What happens is people have fallen sick post-COVID and it is difficult for them to recover. So all the trainings that we had done so far, it's not that they don't want to do the job or they'll quit, but they do not have the strength to actually come back to work. So that is where we had to let go of a lot of orders. There was delays, etc., and the cost was higher. Training cost had to be incurred all over again. Systems had to be set all over again. So this is where
one person I just recently spoke with, whom you may want to connect with, there's a incubator that IIM Kolkata has set up, and they are working extensively with rural women. I don't know if you're familiar with their work. Are you?
I just had a like I'm pitching here. I just had I'll just share something, you would know what I'm talking about. Just allow me for one more slide and you would know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying.
Go ahead.
I had a brief conversation with IIM Kolkata also. I'll tell you about it. So us so far, right now self-funded on loans. Yes, loan has been taking us through. It's a mortgage loan. Our burn rate when we calculate for FY24 is 1 crore and for FY25 is 2.2 crore because we really want to scale up. Like right now from 100 women, we want to go to 500 and then 2000 is where we want to go. We have the infrastructure for 250 and 500 we'll have to build further. In specifically just in terms of money to go smoothly for next 2 years, 4 crore is something that we would need. And when it comes to, and that would be more about working capital because now it's time to market. We have understood the model. We figured out how it is scalable. Yes, so now learning and development is over. Funding requirement, if I'm not really looking out at funding because I'm very conscious of the kind of and funders that we get, like conscious capitalism is very important here. But if at all, I have identified it to be 8 crores.
So you have set options because of the kind of business you are in. These sustainability businesses fall under social entrepreneurship and social impact entrepreneurship, double bottom line entrepreneurship. And there is a class of investors who invest without the requirement of going from 0 to 100 million. It's not a pure financial investment. They are more impact investors. And that's a category where you can raise money potentially. And in fact, actually, that's one thing I would, for the sustainable ecotourism venture also, this is a channel that this is a target funder, investor that could be considered. Unitas, for example, is one of those funds that invest in, projects that have much lower growth rates. So they are not trying to go from 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years. There is an understanding that some of these ventures will be much slower growth, much more linear growth, but they will be sustainable, high impact ventures. And that category of funding may be available to you. So that's one that I would draw for those of you who have social entrepreneurship ventures and can, do some kind of a spin on poverty or sustainability, environment, etc., climate. And we've talked about another venture, the ecotourism venture earlier. These kinds of ventures, you could look into that category of funding.
So you think this is
but it's possible. It's possible.
Funding is possible?
Funding may be possible for slower growth ventures if you have that kind of a double bottom line angle. The other place you can look at is, are you familiar with Kiva? So Kiva is an online platform where investors fund social entrepreneurship. So you could, enlist your project on Kiva, which is this, this kind of a venture, and then you could conceivably raise money from the community in Kiva. So these are for social impact ventures, sometimes some of these types of options are available. Another possibility is now Kiva. I'm not sure. I think Kiva is going to let you be registered in other countries. It's an American company. Kiva is an American exchange, funding exchange, but I do think they fund companies that are not registered in the United States. There's some types of funding, like Kickstarter, for instance. Indiegogo and Kickstarter are two, crowdfunding platforms that are doing a lot of social impact kind of ventures for physical products. This is not going to work so much with the ecotourism venture, but in your case, Aryah, it might work where you have physical products and you could conceivably, raise money on a Kickstarter campaign. But I think that requires you to be registered in the United States.
Would do that if it helps in some kind of funding and visibility.
Yes, exactly. It's not so difficult to register in the United States. You could do that.
So I am like I did my master's from there, and I have been in US for a very long time. Before I came back, I think it's been 11 years that I came back. But yeah, my brother is there. I could just consider.
It's not very difficult. You're right. It's not very difficult to register a company in the United States and raise funding on the basis of, if that is a requirement, to fulfill that requirement. So these are, I'm kind of thinking about some of the non-traditional, non-venture funding options. By the way, angel investors who work within the venture capital ecosystem mostly work as feeders into the venture capital ecosystem. So angel is not necessarily a solution. They're looking for the same thing as what the VCs are looking for, which is this high growth ventures that they can then get VCs to fund. They will fund the very early stage and then they want VCs to come in later. So the metrics requirements kind of are the same, but there are non-traditional alternative financing possibilities, Unitas being one good example of the category of impact investors who may be willing to do some of the kinds of things that you're trying to do in the sustainability space or in the poverty alleviation space and so on.
Okay. So just going back to the previous slide, one quick minute. So I did, because I really wanted to study about scalability, how to scale up the business. I did some courses on entrepreneurship. My MBA is in finance and international business, and I realized I should do this. So I did a Goldman Sachs 10,000 women. That was done through Bangalore. Then I was also a global growth fellow with Goldman Sachs, which is about only 4 women entrepreneurs all over India were selected for this program, and 16 across the world, which is 4 in UK, 4 in China, 4 US. Then I was also incubated with Bangalore under rural entrepreneurship, and I did a UN Women Industry Disruptor program by the Do School, which is funded by UN Women. So when you said I am Calcutta, after my rural entrepreneurship just ended in May. It says March, but it ended in May. And then when I reached out to I'm Calcutta, I don't think I did not get a response from them. They thought I'm already very.
So Kolkata, the reason I brought it up is that they have, they're working with a couple of hundred women entrepreneurs who probably would be good, production partners for something like what you're trying to do. Okay. So that's what brought them to mind. Not an IIM Calcutta incubation program. I don't think you need that right now. What you need is more your go-to-market strategy, your funding, et cetera. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next presenter. If you have time, I can do more Q&A with the ones who have already presented.
These were just my next slides. I'm through. Thank you.
All right. There's one more.
Yes, I don't think she has joined us. There was one more for sure.
Ruhi is back. Yeah, Ruhi, can you let me go back to your presentation, finish the conversation.
Yeah, so the internet.
Your internet dropped?
your last slide also.
So you were talking about your background, and you said your domain knowledge comes from advisors in dermatology. Yes, there's no one on the team who comes from dermatology.
Right.
So go. Let's.
I'm just sitting.
Where is this?
Work is bad here. Just
your connection is really bad. Your connection is really bad.
Is it better now? I've switched off my camera just to ensure that the audio is fine.
Just talk, yeah. Switch off your camera. That's good. Okay. So where are you now? What's the situation with the business? You have launched already.
Yes, so we did not launch the AI tool. So we're working on the AI tool because it also requires some kind of research, medical research, because we want to bring in that personalization and health vitals according to age. So what we were doing is we were doing consultation, and then we were doing the personalization in terms of diet, lifestyle, all through in-person follow-ups. Now we want to incorporate all those in apps. We've identified the set of products that we want to manufacture. We've also started conversation with manufacturers. So we've done close to almost 200 something consultation. I'd say 70, but so this was last month. We've done close to 200 consultation, and our repeat rate is almost at 70%. Initially, we were building for women, and the consultation that did not happen again was primarily women who did not come back, and that's when we realized that we wanted to build for men. So now the two suggestion that I'm primarily looking for is we want to manufacture our own set of products. So should we also looking to raise angel round. So what is the kind of maybe say user acquisition we should do more? Because our repeat rate is good. People are sticking with us when it comes to solution. We realize that in the third party product we will not be able to make money because we're bootstraps. We're not burning, but whatever we make, it goes on to delivery. We did not spend on marketing. So in terms of user acquisition also, we want to market our product so that we increase our reach. So what are two things that can be done in terms of acquiring more customers? Or should we stick to bootstrapping for some time and acquire more customer and then look at the fundraise?
I think you're not going to be ready to raise funds in August. Based on what you've told me, I don't think that it's reasonable to expect that you're going to have the metrics with which to go raise funding by August. Unless you have, so here's another principle that all of you should be aware of. There is this category of funding that is friends and family. And friends and family, the difference between friends and family financing and any kind of professional institutional funding, professional angel investors or institutional VCs funding, professional investors, institutional investors invest in a business. Friends and family invests in a person. So you could conceivably raise funding from your friends and family. There are pros and cons to friends and family investment, obviously, you can imagine. So I would say if you're looking to raise funding in an open market, I don't think you're going to be ready to do that in the next month. You're just not there yet. So you're going to need to work on a lot of the pieces of go-to-market strategy and so on before you will be ready to raise money. There's a question from Prerna.
One more question.
Or investment. Go look at the website. I think most of it is loan. Yeah, go ahead, Ruhi.
Yeah. The second thing I wanted to ask was any suggestion in terms of user acquisition. So what we are doing is we're partnering with gyms because we realize that that's where our user come. They want to take care of their skin, they want to take care of themselves. So we are also acquiring users through gyms, but we primarily want to be a B2C model, right? So should we, because some of our mentors or founders suggested that don't spend on marketing, is it the right time to go to use different channels to acquire customers?
Well, if you can do guerrilla marketing and not have to spend on marketing, that's the best. By all means, that is the best way to build bootstrap businesses. The question that you've already concluded that you shouldn't go to B2B and be B2C, but maybe B2B channels gives you some sort of a cheaper go-to-market strategy. But then the question is, what is the right B2B channel? What kind of B2B channels will have the kinds of people that you're looking for? Is gym the right kind of channel? I'm not sure about that, because people are not really having conversations about baldness in gyms. Where are they having these conversations? Are they having these conversations in some sort of a social media group? Are there social media groups on Facebook or WhatsApp or wherever where they're having this kind of conversations? Can you be in those conversations? Can you acquire customers through those channels? These days, there's specialty groups, right? Social media groups on everything. So I would imagine there are social media groups on dermatology, skin problems, baldness, etc., etc. So I would look on those places to see if you can find guerrilla marketing ways of getting into your customer base. And if it's possible somehow to get in with some kind of B2B strategy, that may not be a bad idea. And I think there are a few other things you need to think about here from how you play this business. Is this something where you are the provider of all consultation, or is this better built? Is this business better built as a two-sided marketplace? Because you are not a domain expert in this domain, so your credibility is limited. Whereas there are a lot of dermatologists and doctors who are domain experts. You could conceivably create a B2B marketplace and build this business as a marketplace. That is a much bigger strategic decision, but you do need to consider that decision. So unless these questions are fully thought through and fleshed out and answered, you are definitely not ready for funding.
Okay. So just to answer, in fact, on the B2B marketplace side, so we are not something like Practo. We did try to, in fact, build something, and we realized that is not something that would work with us, because then we are giving the entire power to the doctor, and also in terms of consultation, we need to break even, because we cannot charge as much as a dermatologist charge when people are visiting him. So what we're primarily doing is we are onboarding senior residents who are, who work from say 8 to 5, and then post that they're free. So we onboard them, and through them we do the consultation. In terms of B2B strategy, and particularly gym, we are not going to them and saying that, you consult primarily for hair. We realize that men are going through this problem, but they don't have really, apart from say some of their friends who are already dealing with that problem, they don't speak to those people. So we are going to the gym and saying that, we'll just guide them on skin and hair, on how to take care of their skin and hair. And from there we tend to be like, if you're going through this problem, and this is how it can be fixed.
Well, I haven't studied in detail your customer acquisition strategy, the numbers, the metrics, CAC and so forth, cost of customer acquisition and so forth. So you're going to need to get a lot more precise in terms of where you want to go, how you want to go. And those are the things that are the next things that you need to consider. We are kind of running out of time. I'm going to spend just a few minutes explaining to you how to use 1Mby1M, and I'm happy to work with you further if you decide that you want to work with 1Mby1M. But before we do that, I want to ask your help in introducing 1Mby1M to your friends, your colleagues, your family members, whoever is trying to do an entrepreneurial venture, men or women. And our strategy and our approach is being completely candid. I've worked with 6 of you today. I've given you completely candid feedback. I have not sugarcoated my feedback. I have been very direct, and that is how I work. So I don't give gratuitous pats in the back. I think all of you are doing interesting work with interesting ideas. There's a lot of learning to do. First-time entrepreneurship is a tremendous learning curve. And and there's no shortcut to this. You kind of have to take what is the reality of the market, process it, and find ways and strategies of how to, navigate that market. So that's how we operate. We're a very serious platform. If you're serious about entrepreneurship, come here. If you're looking for silver bullets, I don't have any silver bullets. You have to study, you have to learn, you have to, build strategy, execute strategy. It's a, time-consuming process. Being an entrepreneur is a many-year journey. Building a company takes, 5, 7, 10 years. I've been doing 1 million by 1 million now in its current form for 13 years. And before that, I have done entrepreneurship development work for another, 4 years before that, 5 years before that, to even get to the beginning of the full-fledged 1 million by 1 million project. So, you want to do something meaningful, something worth doing. It's a very, very big commitment. But that's the kind of entrepreneurs we like to work with and support. Everything, it's a virtual platform, so anyone, anywhere can access it. And, we're really trying to democratize entrepreneurship education, incubation, and acceleration. One thing, Maureen, could you please provide a link to our Udemy courses? And this link that Maureen is going to provide you has discount coupons. Every month we issue discount coupons, and you'll find them on this link. There are many of you are doing e-commerce types of ventures. Actually, there's a tremendous amount of resources on bootstrapping, on fundraising, on how investors think. You really need to understand how investors think before you go out to raise funding. And and there are domain-specific courses as well. Study, whatever it is that you're doing, save some time to, improve your understanding of how to go about, doing the things that you're trying to do. So everything is at 1Mby1M.com. You can access this page also through 1Mby1M.com. Our blog is completely free and it's very rich. You will find tons of valuable material there. There is the Entrepreneur Journeys book series. You can learn from there. It's all case study based on specific topics. These roundtables happen every week. You can pitch once for free, but you can come as much as you want and learn. This is also case study based learning. The philosophy of 1 million by 1 million is case study based learning. The full acceleration program is a $1,000 annual membership fee program, and you can come and talk to me on a weekly basis, and we provide extensive methodology guidance, access to our full curriculum, which is more than 3,000 hours long, thousands of case studies. Wherever we have contacts, we connect those dots for business development, for financing, for media relations, analyst relations, anything you want. And this is the format of strategy consulting that happens behind the paywall in private sessions, private roundtables. The pitches, the discussions are not public. They're not posted, they're recorded, but they're only available to the membership, not outside of the membership. And now on financing, there are policies. We stress very much on fundability. So you can join the program. Anybody can join the program at any stage. You don't have to be fundable to join the program, but to be introduced to the investors, you need to get to that fundability. You can do that through the program. It may take you several years to get there. Sometimes entrepreneurs stay in the program for multiple years, and that's fine too. There is a self-assessment, free self-assessment tool on the website. This is kind of the due diligence framework for entrepreneurs. Take a look at that. You should ask yourselves these questions. There is a free bootstrapping course, less than 1 hour long. That's on our blog. You can do that course if you're trying to learn more about my perspective on bootstrapping. It's very rich. This course has been, again, viewed, taken by probably 300,000 people at this point. And then the Udemy courses really gets into a tremendous amount of detail of the 1M by 1M methodology. We have been gradually, giving Udemy more and more of our courses, and the price point is amazing. In India, with the discounts, you can buy these courses in the $500 rupees to 1,000 rupees range. And that's an amazing price point. And this is why we chose to partner with Udemy. So if you click on the link that Maureen just gave you in the public chat, you will be able to access the discounts right away. Also, if you choose to work directly on the 1M1M website, if you're in premium, you have access to the curriculum anyway as part of your membership. You could also do curriculum only $99 a month, all you can eat on all courses. That's also an option. Try to spend some time on, methodology and pedagogy, because, we are in 2023, the commercial internet is almost 30 years old. So much has happened, so much work has been done, so much learning has happened. When I started as an entrepreneur in 1994, we couldn't get on the internet and learn things. But you are doing things in 2023. You can learn from people who have done it before, and it's worthwhile. So go dig around on the 1M1M website. You have lots of material, what to expect from premium, basic, FAQs, video FAQs. Curriculum is fully described, how we organize the curriculum, etc. And figure out how you want to learn, how you want to use these resources. You are learning from case studies. I'm not teaching the 1M1M curriculum on my own. Thousands of entrepreneurs are teaching through this platform, sharing their lessons from the trenches. And that's really inspiring because you get to model your journey after other people's journeys. And that's really powerful, very inspiring, very powerful. Investor introductions, there's a whole section on the website. Please go through that. If you're coming here for funding, please go through that so you have, realistic expectations. Our methodology is bootstrap first, raise money later. Do not go to investors as beggars, go as kings. I don't want you to go to investors to get 50 rejections. It's no point. It's a waste of time. It just wastes so much time and really destroys your morale. I don't recommend it. So that's it. There are, sessions every week in August, and we're actually doing some regional spotlights. So we're doing in India as part of this, developing underdeveloped geographies, Odisha, Bihar, Assam, Central India. In September, there's West Bengal, Rajasthan, Gujarat, etc. So we'll do all of them. I mean, right now, the startup ecosystem in India is very concentrated in the major metros. One of our missions is to really democratize all this in a big way. So come as much as you want to, use the resources however you want to use them. If you have any other questions, I will take them. We're out of time, but I will stay and take the questions if you have any other questions. You can dial in, you can use your audio, you can use the public chat. I will take questions from the public chat as well.
So may I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So just to, when you say you, you identify that this model is fundable. So how do you,
Did I say
how
it's
do you
fundable?
help?
I didn't say it's fundable. I said it's not fundable with VCs.
No, it's social investors. Yeah, yeah.
It may be fundable by social investors.
Right. I'm not talking about VCs. I'm not looking at them at all. That's not my area of guru. I'm not looking at that. So when you say that it's fundable, how do you help is what I need to understand.
We introduce people to investors. We work with a lot of investors. We introduce people to our network of investors. That's how we work.
So you help us create a pitch or help us get the model in such a way. First, obviously, the model has to reach there.
Yeah.
And then it has to be created. The pitch has to be created.
Pitch, and then introductions.
And then, yes, introductions, correct. So that is like what you're saying is $1,000.
That's the 1M1M premium program. Yes. If you have questions about the 1M1M program, Irina Patterson is available to answer those questions after this program. I will not be taking questions on how the program works, but Irina will. So you have a contact for that, Irina@1M1M.com.
Okay. So who helps us create the pitch? You help us create the pitch, or
yeah, it's all through the sessions like this that happen within the premium program. Yes, all the mentoring is done.
A one-on-one program, like a one-on-one support, or it's a
one-on-one
group
spot.
support?
It's all roundtables like this, exactly this format.
Okay, got it.
And there's a lot of curriculum modules that you're going to go through. So, for example, one thing all of you are getting wrong. I didn't even bring it up today because it's going to take too much time. All of you are getting wrong your TAM analysis, total available market sizing. And
Yeah.
investors only look for bottom-up market sizing. And if you cannot make a compelling case for bottom-up market sizing, all the rest of your calculations are wrong. So this is something that you're going to have to do some curriculum work. Then you have to come and present your model. I have to help you. I'll give you feedback. You'll listen to other people's models and you'll learn the whole domain of TAM analysis. It's the make or break. TAM is the make or break of funding.
Yes, got it. I agree with you. Yes, that's a very valid point.
So anybody else? Any other questions before we wrap up? We've gone a long time. Thank you for staying. For some of you, it's late.
Hi, Shramana. I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so you did mention that for me to go to B2B first, that is, go to schools first. So while going to school, what I've learned is like there are many decision makers in the school. Like we have to like convince the management, principal, teachers, and then it. That kind of.
There's a module that we teach that tackles all this complex selling technique. So if you decide to join the program, this is not available on Udemy, by the way. We did not give this to Udemy. This is only available through 1M Basic or Premium. It's under customer acquisition. It's called Sales 2.0. It's going to take you some time to go through this module, but it takes you through the training of how you build complex sales funnels or situations like that. So yes, your point is right. It is a complex sales cycle, but there are ways to manage a complex sales cycle.
Okay, so you say that I have to first target the just one subject of a STEM, that is either maths or science.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to build something, right? You have to build something.
Yeah.
You can't build all of it at once. You don't have the resources to build all of it at once. You have to build one thing.
Yes. Yeah. I think we've right now we've started with just maths. So from maths, we are trying to build
maths of which math? There's so much in math, right?
Yeah.
Especially trigonometry and calculus and stuff. Math gets complicated.
Yeah, I think we have currently built until including trigonometry. So later on, we want to add calculus and the other stuff. So until trigonometry is something that we want to start having an experimental platform included in that. So right now, so our learning platform just focuses it's currently as a standalone app. So it's not something that they could download it on their phone or something. So we're just providing it as a standalone app. So now we have just received some cloud credits. So we thought of putting that on an app store or something like that, so that we could gain some traction and
how sell something through which you can build a bootstrap business up to a point. Before you can attract any funding, you have to show that you can deliver on some piece, a piece. This is where the whole concept of minimum viable product comes from. You have to show minimum viability of some kind of that people can extrapolate your capacity for execution. There was a time, long time ago, there was a time when concept financing used to happen. It doesn't happen anymore. That kind of went out of the window with the dot-com crash in 1990, in 2000. That concept financing went out of the window. Today, a very little bit of concept financing still happens, only with repeat entrepreneurs, people who have already got track record of building a successful venture. Their investors sometimes give them money on a concept to go do another one. But first time entrepreneurs have no access to concept financing anymore.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's where some credits and all these other things that
we have
kind of helps us.
And by the way, I did receive offers for my 1 million by 1 million concept, because it was my fourth venture. I did receive concept financing offers, but I didn't take it because I didn't think 1 million by 1 million was going to be a venture scale company. So I funded it myself.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ramana, for your time and all the information that you've shared.
You're very welcome. Ardi, do you have a question? Did you want to ask something? I see that you're trying to join the call. Maureen, could you let Ardi speak? I think she has a question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you. And this is the second session I'm attending. I was going to have a pitch today, but I think all the slots were filled, so I'll be with you next week. And I just saw a message on my screen saying you are being asked to unmute yourself. So I turned my, I clicked on that link. I don't specifically have any questions. It was really good to watch the number of the presentations that were done today. I learned a ton. My God, what an incredible array of talent that have come today in particular. That have been there. Great work. I'm very impressed.
Fabulous presentations. I'm very impressed, and I have no doubt that all of you are going to be successful. You just have to kind of put the right, put one foot before the other and just kind of navigate carefully. This is it's like walking, a tightrope, right? Entrepreneurship is walking a tightrope. You have to extend your runway so that you don't run out of cash and kind of go out of business by running out of cash. So you have to manage everything very tightly, but all of you are doing wonderful work. You're very talented people. So I think you will all eventually be successful. All right.
And they're all at least 40 years younger than I am. So that's a good age to start.
All right. Well, on that note, we will continue the conversation in upcoming sessions. All of you who are planning to pitch in upcoming sessions, please register as soon as possible. Slots are filling up very quickly. So we, instead of 5 pitches today, we managed to do 6. There was a 7th that was registered that didn't turn up. We probably had some problem, but anyway, I would request you not to waste slots because there's tremendous demand for slots right now. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.